I am joining you tonight from my home in Arizona with the help of 3 of my grandchildren who have gone literally thousands of miles out of their way to make this possible. Tanner, Allie, and Spencer, thank you. Thanks also to the former Warrior players who are attending the banquet tonight. I so wish I could meet with you in person again. Yeah, that's great.
Who's that good-looking guy there?
Oh, yeah! Oh, that was the hug.
That's cute.
Got some softball stuff.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and where are you teaching?
Up in Mount Vernon, Washington.
Mount Vernon, okay.
Well, it's good to see you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks, Kelly.
Bye.
Great to see you.
Mark Albertine.
Hey, Mark. Good to see you.
How are you?
Not well, but still kicking. Still alive kicking.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll never forget you let me and picking your brain.
Extra duty pay for you in April, for sure. Thank you.
I'll make sure to bill somebody, all right?
Yeah, you bill me. Thanks also to Angie and Barb for presenting me. Angie came into the Warrior program as a senior when Woodway and Edmonds merged. She was a talented guard with outstanding leadership skills who helped us take 3rd at the state tournament that year. Barb was our senior rock during our 1984 championship season, and never more so than in the championship game. We fell behind by 11 points early in the game, then rallied to cut the deficit to 4 by halftime. After my inspiring halftime talk, we fell behind by 11 again. But Barb and her teammates were not having that. Barb had a couple of crucial 3-point plays, the old-fashioned kind, coming down the stretch, and then, with the score tied, grabbed an offensive rebound and put back a soft jumper that went through the net just as the buzzer sounded. I'm highly honored to be inducted into the Washington State Girls Basketball Coaches Hall of Fame tonight, and honored to be introduced by Angie and Barb as well.
It's an honor for me tonight to be here to speak on behalf of Coach Evans. I just want to recognize his grandkids that are here tonight that brought Coach Evans' great grandkids to this event. So thank you. It's an honor to speak on behalf of your grandfather. Coach Evans is the only girls basketball coach in Woodway High School history. He coached for the duration of that school from 1967 to 1990 when they merged the schools, and then he continued to coach for Edmonds Woodway. During his 30 years at Woodway and at Evans Woodway, he set a high standard for the level of play for girls basketball in our league and in the state. Those early and mid 80s teams were known statewide for their tough, hard-nosed defense. There's a huge portion of them over here, what I'm talking about. They play tough man-to-man defense, and this style of play, this really physical, in-your-face, focused defense, is commonplace now, but it wasn't then. And opponents had a really difficult time playing those Woodway teams, right, Mark Albertine? Yes. While some schools were just happy to have girls programs, he didn't settle for that. He wanted to take it to the next level, and he really created the blueprint for what powerful, strong, consistent girls basketball programs look like statewide. And I'm just one of many former athletes of his who he impacted. And there's a large number of them over here, and many who aren't here tonight. The trajectory of my career in athletics as a coach and then an athletic director really can be traced back to that phone call that he made to me in the spring of 1996. And I will forever be grateful to him for that. So thanks, Coach. I know you couldn't be here tonight, but it's really an honor to celebrate you. Coach Evans built in the town of Edmonds, which he really put it on the map, and he put it on the map with so many of these women over here. So I'm excited to introduce the next speaker from the 1984 Woodway High School State Championship team, Barb Wade.
I graduated from Woodway High School in 1984, and I played basketball for Coach Evans for 3 years. I don't know if Coach Evans knows this, but I actually had a choice of which high school to go to, Mount Lake Terrace or Woodway. And I chose Woodway because of Coach Evans and the success of his girls basketball program. So my senior year, we make it back to the championship game, and we come out of the gates like we played so horrible. I think we were down 17-2 in the first quarter. It was horrible, and I literally just said, so this is how I'm going out.
I think it's 15-4.
Coach Evans was always calm, cool, and collected. He stayed calm, and he calmed us down. And then he took us back to our fundamentals and how we got there in the first place. And we scrapped and we fought our way back, and at the end of that game, we were state champs. If we're lucky, somewhere along our life, we are exposed to individuals who influence us in positive and significant ways. People who make us better and help us reach our full potential. Mr. Evans was such an individual to so many of us. He helped shape our lives, not just through lessons he gave us on the court, but also being a person of character. By his example, we learned about generosity, passion, commitment, competition, camaraderie, courage, grit, perseverance, vulnerability, humility, and humor. He was consistent and tough, but always caring and patient. Always, always, always calm, cool, and collected. He emphasized the importance of a tenacious defense. He set our goals high and made us work hard to achieve them. Mr. Evans not only taught us how to play and understand the game of basketball, he also taught us lessons we have used throughout our lives. Under his leadership, we won a lot of games, but more important than just being winners in basketball, he taught us how to be winners in life.
I did not quite get in on the ground floor of what has become the towering edifice of interscholastic and professional girls and women's basketball, but I was close. In 1972, when Congress passed the landmark act known as Title IX, I had just begun my coaching career as an assistant in the boys basketball program at Woodway High School. When I became the girls coach in 1976, there were still some inequities between the boys and girls programs. Girls had finally been permitted to board the basketball bus, but for the first few years, they had to sit in the back. Girls sometimes had to play afternoon games, which were difficult for parents to attend. If they played evening games, they played on Mondays and Wednesdays, not on primetime Fridays, which were reserved for boys. Occasionally, they played in auxiliary gyms or at local middle school gyms. The first girls' game I ever coached was played in the afternoon at Linwood High School, and our schedule that year consisted of 18 games, whereas the boys played 20. In 1984, the year we won the state championship, we opened our season at Madrona Middle School, our feeder school, while the boys played in the Woodway gym. But bit by bit, progress was being made, both in terms of equality of opportunity and in the skill development of the players and the artistry of their games. Local youth clubs were starting programs for girls, clinics and competitive basketball leagues in the winter, day camps in the summer. Summer camps began to appear at colleges all around the state. The Bob Hubrig's Les Habegger camp at Fort Casey on Whidbey Island, where I worked for a few summers, added a girls' week. Then, in the 80s, came an explosion of summer leagues and AAU leagues and travel teams. And, little more than a year ago, no storyline about a college player, whether male or female, drew more media attention than the saga of Caitlin Clark, whose model caused an epidemic of hernias among 8-year-old girls trying to launch three-pointers from the logo. The development of women's basketball, going from the back of the bus to become media darlings, is just a great story, wonderful stuff, and all of us who have played and coached at any of the levels, youth leagues, AAU teams, high school teams, college teams, have had a small but important part in it. Is not. I hope you will now allow me in this, the final speech of my life, to go off the rails and dive deep into the weeds and lapse into a quasi-mystical meditative state. Because I believe that whether we were conscious of it or not, we were seeking, the coaches in their teaching and the players in their performing, to achieve a kind of transcendence, a unification, a connectedness, an unspoken avowal that for 32 minutes of game time, we would live and die for each other as we immersed ourselves in the enchanted fluidity of this wonderful game of basketball. The players becoming artists, making order out of chaos, using the material of their own bodies, pivoting, jumping, sliding, gliding, mindful of where they are, of where everyone else is, sensing where and when to move, no distinction between action and thought, thought unmediated by language, active but at peace, in their bodies yet detached from them, totally present, in the moment, their coaches urging them to throw themselves gallantly into the game, to cause each intense moment to matter, to shape space-time with their sometimes choreographed, sometimes improvised particles and waves of movement, to bend it with their pace of play, their extra passes, their ball reversals, their post entries, their screens, their cuts, their stop-and-go dribbles, to speed it up with their fast breaks, even to bring it to a halt with their timeouts, and to prevent their opponents from shaping it their way by applying defensive pressure, giving them no space or time to execute, swarming them, climbing into their jerseys, denying dribble penetration, bumping cutters off their routes, cutting off passing lanes and angles, jump switching, trapping, harassing the ball with predatory hands, diving for it when it's knocked loose, contesting any shot, boxing out boisterously when it's released, exploding for the rebound, turning game time into time as we all long for it to be, not just a winding down to death, but motion made distinguished use of in a space where anticipation, imagination, deftness, agility, strength, effort, and courage bring exaltation, at oneing their bodies with the motion of the universe to gloriously transcend their human physical limitations and achieve the magical, mystical madness of basketball art. But the joy was in the journey. The joy was in the process. The joy was in the striving together. And I am so, so grateful to have had the opportunity to pursue that quest for a period of 20 years and to have shared it with all of those wonderful girls who came to play for me and who have left with me magic, mystic memories of the way we were, or tried to be.
But Katrina Baldwin answered for North Kitsap and tied the game at 52 with 9 seconds to play. But number 12 in white, Hardway, did it all as time ran out. She drove the length of the floor, missed the shot, followed it at the buzzer, and Woodway won the AA crown 54-52. That was the exciting game of the night.